Hey everyone, in today's video, I'll be going over a build I saw recently, which I wanted to test out, and I actually really enjoyed it. It's a pure Claw of Thunder Assassin. It's pretty much the same as the full-on Mosaic Assassin, but instead of getting the 9 charges or so going, you only have to do the 3 for the Claw of Thunder, and this thing absolutely destroys everything. I'll be going over the stats, skills, and items that I use, and hopefully you too can try out this build. So to start out with the items, for your weapons, you're going to want to get 2 Mosaics. They're not that expensive to get, and you could pretty much get them pretty early on in the ladder season. You get 2 of them, that way you could keep your charges up as much as possible. Obviously, you have to keep hitting stuff within like 10 seconds or so, so just make sure you keep hitting monsters and keep moving as fast as you can, and your charges will stay up. For my armor, I went with Enigma. It's pretty obvious. It gives +2 to skills, and it gives you teleport, which helps you fly to mobs faster. Even though if you don't have Enigma, you could use Dragonflight just for like a budget temporary, but you're going to want to try to get Enigma so you can fly as fast as possible. For my helmet, I went with Griffins for pretty obvious reasons. It gives 1 to skills, some faster cast rate, negative to enemy lightning resistance, which will help you since you're using lightning, and it boosts your lightning skills. So this is pretty much your go-to helmet. If you can't get this, then get a Shaco. That's a pretty good alternative, but I would try to get a Griffins if you can. For Amulet and rings, I know people get crazy with the rares and the crafted ones, but I'm just keeping it very simple for video purposes. So for my Amulet, I went with Amara's. Gives +2 to skills, 5 to all attributes and resistances, which helps greatly because this build, if you don't have resistant small charms or a couple grand charms, you're really going to slack with your resistances even though if you're using Fade, so this helps out a lot. For my 1 ring, I went with Stone of Jordan for obvious reasons, skills, mana. And for my other ring, you want to try to have Cannot Be Frozen, so I went with a Ravenfrost. It gives you some dexterity, which could help alleviate from adding extra points to dex, and it gives some mana and it cannot be frozen. For my boots and gloves, I chose to go with Mage Fist to help with the mana regeneration. She's a mana hog and it kind of sucks, so this helps kind of alleviate from that. And then for my boots, I went with Gore Riders and I upgraded them for a little bit more kick damage. It gives some Crushing Blow, Deadly Strike, Open Wounds. You could switch these out for whatever you need. You could get some Resistance boots or some more Travs, whatever you want, but this is what I'm choosing to use for my build. And then, of course, on the Switch, you have a Call to Arms for the Battle Order buff and a Spirit Shield. For the charms, you want to get the best torch that you could possibly get stat-wise. Same with the Annie. And then I got a Lightning Sunder. You want to get as low of a number as you can here so it doesn't take away from your resistances. This will help drastically with killing monsters. And then I wanted to hit the 48 faster hit recovery breakpoint, so I got 4 martial art grand charms with 12 faster hit recovery. That way I hit the 5 frames, and then the rest of them I just did martial arts with life. You want to get as high as life as possible. For my small charms, I just went with lifers with resistance on them. You can always do single element resistances if you need them higher, and if you're still struggling with that, even with Fade for your resistances, you could always get grand charms with single target resistances. I believe they go up to 30%, which is really nice. So just whatever your needs are for your charms, but this is what I use and it helps a lot. With your stats, it's typical across the board. I'm going to keep it real basic here. Your strength, you want enough to wear your gear. Obviously, Enigma adds a lot of strength to it. So here I only got 70 base points. Dexterity, again, enough to wear your gear. You have 2 claws on and you have the skill that helps with weapon block. And then Vitality, you want to add all other points to here. Energy, don't worry about it. For your skills, you're going to want to put 1 point into Dragon Talon. That's going to be your finishing move. You can also put 1 in the Dragon Claw, whichever one you prefer. But this is the finishing moves you're going to use to detonate your charges. And then you're going to want to max out Claw of Thunder. This is going to be your main charge up skill. You're going to want to max the synergy for it, which is Phoenix Strike. You can also use that to charge up. And if you're feeling frisky, you can max out Blade of Ice, and you could also have those charges going, at least 1 with it, to freeze enemies with your Claw of Thunder going. So it just depends on what you want to do. But if you get the 3 charges of Claw of Thunder going, you're pretty much going to just annihilate anything and everything in your path. So that's what I do. For shadow skills, I put a few points into weapon block to help block with your claws. And then I put about 10 points into Fade to help give you some more resistances, which helps you a lot. Again, if Fade doesn't help get you to your max resistances, you make up the difference with the charms. And then I got 1 point into Mind Blast in case I want to use it. For my trap skills, I put up into 1 point into Death Sentry just to have fun. You got some leftover points. You could kind of do what you want here if you get to level 99. And if you just want to explode some corpses, throw a couple of these bad boys out. But you're really not going to get the chance or need it with Claw of Thunder and how hard it hits. For the Mercenary, very basic setup. You get an Act 2 Mercenary. I got a Holy Freeze 1. I gave him an Infinity, an S Fortitude, and an S Andes with the Ral Rune. The Ral Rune makes up for the fire resistance that's missing on the Andes. So it's a pretty typical mercenary setup, but it helps a lot. And this is a Claw of Thunder build. Again, it's just a slight variation of a Mosaic Assassin with full charges, but with this build, you can get charges up in less time and start flying through levels. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed this build, and as always, I'm going to end the video with some gameplay to show this build in action.